Hey, so in this new video series, I'm going to show you how to rank in Google step by step. Please keep watching to learn more about this new series. So the way this series is going to work is really simple. You can submit a keyword to me anonymously, and I already have a large list of keywords that people have submitted for me. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select one of those keywords, and then I'm going to show you step by step how to actually rank for that keyword. And basically, the thought process that I would have if that was a keyword that I was targeting. And I'm not going to personally pursue ranking that keyword, but I'm going to give you exactly what you need to be able to rank for that keyword. So I'm going to be doing a lot of the heavy lifting for you, and then it's ultimately just going to be up to you to go out there and actually take the information and put it into action, and most importantly, execute on that information. So with that said, let's jump into the video. Okay guys, so I am on my computer, and the target keyword that I'm going to show you how to rank is trace minerals. And this is a keyword phrase that was submitted anonymously by a member of Gotch SEO Academy. So the first thing that I would want to do if this was my target keyword is I would want to qualify this keyword, make sure that it's actually a good keyword to go after. So how do you actually qualify keyword? Well, the first thing that I would personally do is go to the Keyword Explorer on Ahrefs and then put that in there. And so Ahrefs is going to give you a 30,000 foot view of what's going on with this particular keyword. And you'll be able to qualify this keyword with just this data alone, but I'm going to show you a couple extra steps that you can take to qualify these keywords even further to make sure that you're targeting keywords that are actually worth going after. So looking at this data alone, Ahrefs is going to give you this keyword difficulty, and this is useful. You could certainly make decisions based on the keyword difficulty that they show here, but I wouldn't recommend keeping at that service level. I would probably go much deeper. In fact, I would go much deeper. But the other things I want to look at are, does it actually have search volume? So Ahrefs is saying it has around 13,000 searches per month. That's a pretty good amount of searches. So that would be something that would be worthwhile. The second big qualifier that I would look at is, are there paid results for this keyword phrase? So according to Ahrefs, there are paid results. About 21% of the results are paid. So that is qualification that this is a keyword phrase that people are willing to invest money into, or companies are willing to invest money into. Therefore, that means there is a potential to make a profit with it, and there's a good potential for it to be a great term to monetize around. So that is a really great qualifier. So the next thing I would want to do is look at the keyword ideas that Ahrefs gives me, copy all of these keywords. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy all of the keywords, and all the work that I'm doing now, I'm actually going to have all of this below the video as a free download. So I'm literally going to be doing the work for whoever keyword this is. So you can take the information and jump on it as fast as possible and execute as fast as possible on it. I'm just giving you the framework. I'm giving you the roadmap to rank for this keyword. But like I said, I would copy these, and then the next thing you'd want to do is go down to the bottom. And what I'm looking at right here is to determine if this particular keyword phrase is link worthy. And so I'm looking at these results here, and then all I have to do is go to domains, and this is the total linking domains going to these pages. And so, obviously it's very lopsided. This exact match domain here is getting the majority of the links, but that proves that people are willing to link to this particular topic. And that's important for when you're thinking about targeting a keyword. You want to know that people are actually willing to link to the topic, because there are some topics that are not going to be as link worthy. So the good news is that this one definitely is. And so that's the beginning portion of qualifying the keyword. Now I want to show you a couple other things that I like to do to qualify the keyword further. So the next thing I like to do is go to BUZZSUMO. BUZZSUMO serves two purposes. The first purpose is to qualify the keyword based on social engagement and social activity around the topic. So all you have to do is just run a search for the target keyword phrase. And once you're in here, all that you're trying to look for is to see if this particular topic, which is trace minerals, has social activity around it. And it clearly does. It looks like it is a very shareable topic. And so that is a really good sign. And of course, this is not always going to be the case, but in this case, this is definitely a qualified topic from a social activity standpoint. And then the second piece of BUZZSUMO that you want to take advantage of is to do this view sharers option. And so I would just click on this and then this one. I'd go through all of these and I'd get view sharers. And then what I would do is I would export these sharers. And like I said, below this video, I'm gonna have all of these in a Google Sheet that you can just take and you can reach out to these people later on after you create your actually keyword targeted page. So BUZZSUMO is really great for qualifying keywords and the social engagement around those keywords, and most importantly, getting access to the people that have shared this particular topic. Because if you can find these people, that means you can reach out to them and let them know that, hey, I just produced something that's very similar to something you've already shared and it's better. So more on that later. And the final qualification technique that I like to use as well is to go to Google Trends. You just enter your keyword into Google Trends, and all I'm trying to see is if this topic has been trending upward over the past 12 months or even a couple of years. So over the past 12 months, it's been somewhat flat, but it has been rising a little bit. Really what matters is you want to look more at like maybe the past 5 years, just to make sure that there hasn't been any steep declines in interest in this particular topic. It doesn't mean if there's a decline that you should completely avoid it, but it is a good sign if it is going up, because therefore, you know, at least in a year or maybe 5 years from now, this topic will still be driving the organic search traffic. So that's kind of a nice qualification metric as well. Okay, so now I want to show you the final qualification technique that I like to use, which is to look for user engagement around the topic. So in this case, the first thing I would do is look at forums. So you can just do something like forum, and then you can do plus trace minerals, or you can do vice versa, you know, trace minerals plus forum. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into these forums and see if there's user engagement around these particular topics. So looking at this first page here, it looks like there's a little bit of engagement around this topic. We at least have a forum thread about this topic. So there are people that are interested in it, and there are people that at least have some knowledge of it as well. So that's a good sign. And the same is true for this page as well. It looks like there are responses to this, and of course they're a little old, but at least you see that there is engagement around this particular topic. And then on this page, it also looks like we have some engagement around the topic as well. So these are all really good signs. People are talking about this topic. People have a lot of knowledge about this topic, and people are asking questions about this topic. So that is a good sign, because it's showing that you're going to be targeting a keyword that people are actually interested in. That's pretty important. And of course, you know, you could just qualify a keyword based on search volume, because that is a strong qualifier. But I recommend going through each of these different qualifiers to make sure that it really is a great idea. And most importantly, if you have a huge list of keywords, this is a great way to prioritize those keywords based on the ones that have the greatest amount of qualifiers visible. But I do want to make one important point, and that's if a particular keyword doesn't have a good qualifier, for example, let's say it doesn't have a lot of social engagement around it, that doesn't mean you should just avoid the keyword. This is more of just the process of prioritizing your keywords based on these different qualifiers. But there are going to be times where certain keywords are missing qualifiers and some have all of them. So it's not always going to be a good idea just to avoid it if it's missing one or two, maybe even three qualifiers. But as long as it has at least one good qualifier, you'll probably be doing pretty well. So then another way for you to see if there's any engagement around this topic is actually just to go to YouTube, which is the second biggest search engine, and to look to see if there is interest around this particular topic. So the best thing to do is just look at the videos and look at how many views each of these videos has around this particular topic. And then one last thing you can do is actually use Amazon, especially for a topic like this that is basically a supplement. You should go to Amazon and see if there are products around this particular keyword phrase. So as you can see, there are definitely products just for this specific topic. So that's a good sign, because it's showing that companies are willing to invest into this topic. So there's a lot of money in this topic. So that's a good sign, because one of the biggest qualifiers is actual cold hard cash. So this is a really good sign. We can basically conclude that this keyword is qualified. And there are so many factors showing that this keyword is qualified, so it is way overqualified as a keyword to go after. So now what is the next part of this process? Well, the next thing I would do after I've solidified the fact that this is a good idea to go after, I want to do a deep competitor analysis for this keyword. So there are two parts to a effective competitor analysis. And the first is going to be examining external signals. So those are going to be backlinks and social signals. And then the other part of the analysis is to actually analyze the pages that are ranking. So I'm back here on Ahrefs, and I want to start looking at the quality of links that these particular websites have, or at least these pages have. And so the one thing I love to do is I like to export these results. Then what I like to do is I like to copy this information here, and then we'll just go ahead and paste this here. Okay, so then what I want to do is I want to actually clean up a lot of this stuff because it's not really important from a competitor analysis standpoint. So things such as, last update, return rate, all of this stuff is going to be pretty useless for keyword analysis. And then we'll also get rid of this as well. So then what I like to do is I like to get an average of each of these categories. Okay, so once you have all your averages laid out, this is a really good way to get a 30,000 foot view of the competition for this keyword versus your website. So I'm just gonna show you a hypothetical situation. So what you wanna do is you kind of wanna just look to see what you're up against. So in this case, I can tell that one person or one competitor is just dominating the backlink quantity. And so the problem with looking at this from an average standpoint is that clearly the first result is overpowering this number. And so if we disregarded this guy, it would probably look a lot different as far as the average backlink total. So we're looking at about 231 backlinks, and that's much different than what it was previously, but still, this can definitely distort it. And the other big column, actually, I would say probably the most important column here is the linking root domains, because this number right here, 70, is the high end of probably how many linking root domains you would have to get to rank for this keyword, or to at least probably compete with this number one person. So, you can obviously get much less depending on how strong your website is relative to the competitors. So the other big piece is domain rating. And when you look at this, it's pretty interesting because the top ranking domain only has a domain rating of 49, but they're able to make up for their lack of domain rating because they have an exact match domain. And so, there is kind of a balancing effect that goes on here, but these other guys are much stronger, except for this one here. So this is a really good sign. And then also this guy here, these are two really good signs that you can compete in this for this particular keyword, because you have two very weak domains that are ranking mixed in with domains that are much stronger, like this, which is Amazon, of course, 95. And you can usually beat Amazon because this is just one product. So you can beat them from a content perspective. But I would be concerned if this domain rating was much higher, if it was around like 70 or 80, that would be a lot more concerning. But in this case, seeing that the number one ranking result is, a 49 domain rating, which is still pretty strong. It's not super strong. It's not weak, but these are really, really exciting. So I would get excited if I saw this particular circumstance, because these guys could definitely get pushed off. But the big takeaway here is to always compare your website against the competitors, and that's really what matters. So if you have a domain rating of, let's say 50, you can compete for this keyword because there are websites ranking that have domain ratings far lower than yours. But if you have a lower domain rating than every single ranking result, then you're gonna have to work way harder to rank for this keyword in most cases. And by working harder, that's going to mean maybe getting more backlinks or creating a far superior page than everything that's ranking. So the next thing I would want to do is I want to look at the actual quality of the backlinks that these competitors have. So in this case, these guys don't have a ton of backlinks going to their pages. So I would just look at this first guy to see what his backlinks actually look like. So I'm back here on Ahrefs, and I'm just going to put the target URL in here. So this is the number one ranker for that keyword phrase. And then once the analysis is finished, go to backlinks. And so basically what I want to do here is I want to see, does this number one ranking result, the guy who's dominating for this keyword phrase, does he have good high quality backlinks. And so, right away, the first thing I notice is a lot of his top links are no followed. So what I would do is I would go ahead and make sure that we're only looking at do follow links. Okay, so now we're looking at just the do follow links that this particular person has. So right away, the first link that I notice that they have is a .gov link. Yeah, so they legitimately have a do follow link on a .gov website. So that is a huge boost for them. But that's not to say that you can't get a link on this page as well, because clearly this page is willing to link out to external websites. So you could definitely craft a way to get your link on here with a little bit of outreach. So you don't need to go super deep analyzing every single link. It's more just to see, are the majority of their links high quality? And if the answer is yes, you know that you're gonna have to get very high quality links as well. And so the next thing that I would do is I would go through each of these competitors and I would export all of the links that are linking to them. And this is gonna be the beginning of building your link prospecting database. So I will have the link prospects here below this video so you can get access to those immediately for whoever's keyword this actually is. But that is a really important part because you want to be prepared already out of the gate as opposed to having to scramble after you publish. So you already know that as soon as you publish, you have link prospects ready, you have potential sharers ready, and you're just ready to promote this page like crazy so you can push it up as fast as possible. Okay, so now it is time for my favorite part of this process, which is to analyze the actual pages that are ranking. And this is the most exciting part for me because I really love creating content and trying to rank it in Google. It's like a weird obsession of mine. So let me show you kind of the way that I would go about analyzing a particular set of results and showing you how to find weaknesses in your competitors that you can jump on so that you can beat them very, very fast. Okay, so I am here on the website that is ranking #1 for trace minerals. And right away, one of the biggest reasons why they are ranking is because they have an exact match domain. And it's probably likely that this domain has been around for a while, but that's not the most important part. What we want to do is we want to just look at the possible reasons why this page is ranking. So when we look at it, it looks like it is just a company selling trace minerals. And this homepage is just dedicated to the products that they sell. It's not a comprehensive piece of content by any imagination. And it's literally just a homepage of an exact match domain. So in this case, I'd be pretty excited to see this because I know for a fact that I'd be able to beat this particular page with a more comprehensive piece of content because just a homepage like this is not super exciting in any way. But the one thing we really want to take note of is what types of results Google is serving for this keyword, because that's going to give us an idea of how to satisfy search intent for this keyword. So in this case, we know we have a homepage ranking without much content. You don't need to get super crazy about this, but you just need to take notes of the intent that's going on here. Okay, so I have moved on to competitor number 2. Okay, so a few things I noticed right away. They have a low word count, but first let's say what the search intent is. So it's just an article. So right away, one thing I noticed is that I could definitely create way more words and content on this page than they have. So it looks like they have about 1,900 words, give or take. So we know right away that we can beat this person just on word count alone. And so continue looking at this a little bit further. They are doing some things well. They have good outbound links. They're linking to authoritative resources. So that's great. But it looks like they're using stock photos. What you can do is search this image in Google and see if this is a stock photo in any way. So it looks like this photo has been used across multiple websites, and yes, it is a stock photo 100%. So that is one thing that you can take advantage of, is you can create unique photos for your brand as opposed to using these stock photos. So I would put that in here. And as you can see, kind of what I'm doing right now is I'm basically trying to poke holes in their strategy and trying to find small things that they're doing incorrectly that I can take advantage of with my piece of content. So the other big thing is I wouldn't have a huge picture like this to push the content way down. So that's one thing that I wouldn't personally do. So from a readability standpoint, we can definitely beat them on that as well. And also the fact that this entire first block is all bolded are all things that we wouldn't be doing. So the other big thing that I've noticed is this page does not have video. It does not have audio. and it doesn't even have any infographics, which are all golden opportunities in this situation. So now the third competitor is Amazon. I don't normally do deep analysis of Amazon because clearly they're ranking because of how authoritative they are. But the one thing I recommend you do when there is an Amazon result is go to the reviews and also go to the common questions and answers, because you can find all kinds of topics that you can cover in your content asset right here. Just looking at this product, there are 507 reviews. So there is all kinds of information about this particular trace mineral product. So you can find all kinds of stuff in here that you can use to deepen your content even further. So what I would do is I would just literally take some time and dig through this and look for certain points that I could maybe address in my piece of content. Okay, so I'm on to the fourth competitor. So I'm just gonna analyze this competitor and one more because I'm already seeing kind of the trend around this particular keyword phrase. Just looking at this alone right away, you can tell this is probably a stock photo. So looking at about 1,000 words on this page. And looking through this content, it looks super dry, super boring, and does not look fun or entertaining at all. So you could take advantage of this very, very easily. It doesn't look like they put very much time or effort into this at all. So you can definitely beat this particular person. So that's a good sign right away, is you see a result that's clearly not well developed and it's ranking well, so that's a really, really good sign. Okay, I'm on the fifth and final competitor for this target keyword. Just like the other ones, it looks like they're using a stock photo once again, and we'll go ahead and check the word count. So it looks like I've got about 1,900 words for this particular competitor, and I do not believe there is any video, audio, infographics, or unique media at all. Looking through this, once again, looks relatively interesting, but it's not going to be anything too exciting, just a huge block of text, and most internet users would not get through this because of the way that the content is designed and the readability around it. So you should get super excited when you look at these results, because there is a ton of opportunity to dominate for this keyword. And so this competitor analysis, as you can tell, is just to see what we're up against. And now you have to actually figure out how you're going to compete for this keyword. What are you going to create? What are you going to do to actually beat these people? So just looking at this information alone, we can figure out how to tackle the search intent for this keyword phrase. So we know 3 out of the top 5 results are articles, so we can create an article, and that's always going to be my preferred way to satisfy search intent, because obviously you can go super in depth with an article or a guide, and generally they're much easier to rank than a homepage, a product page, or a category page, for example. So the first step is we're going to write an article, and then we're going to look at the total word count. So our target word count would probably be in the 3,000 to 4,000 range. Okay, so these are the main things that came to my mind right away if I was going to create a piece of content. This is basically what I do for every page that I want to rank. I just create a little basic strategy. So in this case, we know it's going to be an article. I would be prepared to write at least 3,000 to 4,000 words for this single keyword. I would then take unique pictures for the content. So if you're promoting a particular mineral, you should try to get your hands on that mineral, or you should get your hands on a product related to that mineral and take real pictures, real professional pictures, and put that in the content, because it makes it way better and way more unique. Then the next element is to record a video around this topic so that you can, most importantly, put it on the page you want to rank so that you can increase dwell time. And none of your competitors have video, so clearly you're going to have an advantage on that front. And then you also will have it on YouTube, which is the second biggest search engine, where you can actually rank for that keyword phrase in YouTube as well. So it's a double whammy. And then the other thing you can do is create an infographic, which I say is optional. And so what I would do is I would go through this process of writing the article, getting the unique pictures, and recording the video, and then see how well that performs. And if you still feel like it's lacking a little bit, you can add more media elements to it to increase the level of uniqueness and quality. And then some other micro stuff, you should be adding more external links to authoritative resources. So that's going to be .gov websites or any authoritative resource in the health industry. Use more headings, break the text up more, and most importantly, simplify the content, because this seems like a pretty dry topic. So you need to figure out a way to make it not as dry and make it way more interesting and entertaining. Most importantly, dumb it down a little bit. You're not writing to people with PhDs. You're writing to the average person who's just wondering how trace minerals are going to help them. And one thing you can do is you can actually use Hemingway Writer, which will help a lot with simplifying your writing. Okay, so now I'll just real quickly cover how I would go about actually creating this piece of content. So the first thing I would do is I would outline the content. So just make sure you set up your bullet points. Then I would go out and find unique data and unique research, and even just any unique information that I can, and throw that in there, because that's going to increase the depth of the content. So look through journals and really authoritative resources for real data and real unique research. And then, as I mentioned previously in the video, go on Amazon and find those little ideas so that you can deepen the content even further, because then the people that are reading it, they'll be like, wow, it seems like this person read my mind. But in reality, you just look at all the information available to you and you created the most comprehensive and most valuable piece of information for them. And then the next thing is to actually put in the work. You have to actually write the content, or you need to hire a subject matter expert to write the content for you. Then after that, you just have to edit the content, and then lastly, need to optimize the content. Once it's optimized, you just need to publish it. And then from here, all you have to do is just actually go out there and promote this great content asset. And obviously, how you go about creating this content asset is going to totally vary, but the main objective should be for you to create the most valuable piece of content around this topic and to be the most informative page on this topic. That's really what your main goal should be. And if you do that well, it makes the process of promoting it much easier. And the last thing that I didn't cover is actually the first step, really, is headlines. You really need to obsess about creating a strong headline. And one of the best things you can do is use one of my favorite tools. This tool here from Advanced Marketing Institute is probably one of the most used tools that I have. Every time I come up with a headline for my blog post or a sales page or an Instagram post, anything, I always use this tool to see the quality of the headline. We'll go to one of the competitors. We'll actually just take their headline and we'll see how well that headline performs in this tool. So that headline does not perform very well at all. So you know that you can create a way better headline that can generate more clicks, more shares, and generate way more interest for the topic. So the one thing I recommend is writing at least 10 to 20 different headlines and then just running them through here. And eventually you're gonna move these words around. You're gonna figure out a headline that is really captivating and cool. And so that's pretty much it, guys. This analysis was actually really easy because my conclusion is that this is a good keyword to go after. It's low competition for the most part, and there is a huge opportunity to dominate with a really amazing content asset. I would be excited about this keyword, and I would definitely be going after it if this was the niche that I was in. All right, guys, so that is all for the first video in this new training series, how to rank in Google step by step. So hopefully I'll come up with a better name as I go on through this process, but I am just going to be iterating to try to make this series better and better. But for now, just bear with me as it's kind of a rough idea. So I hope you got a lot of value out of it. And as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, we're currently running a giveaway for you to get free lifetime access to Gotch SEO Academy, which is a total value of $1,000. And so all you need to do is subscribe to my channel and like this video and comment on this video. And make sure you do that for every video that we publish for the next couple weeks, because then we're going to select one person to get lifetime access to the course. I hope you got a lot of value out of this video. I had a really fun time creating it, and thank you so much for watching my videos and engaging with my content. I'm so incredibly grateful. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.